Hi and welcome back to another video by Eggy Fits. In this video I'm going to be showing you how to prep the transition between concrete and wood floors. So when you put a tile over the top, you don't know when one starts and the other one begins. It will basically be a seamless floor. Okay? So as you can see with this floor, it was previously fitted with a orange screed. Now this orange screed is actually, I think, is Fast Track 30. Now Fast Track 30 is a really fast setting screed, so I reckon that the fitters that fitted it obviously probably latex the ground floor and then went upstairs and started fitting carpets and underlay and all that, and by the time they've done that they come downstairs and the latex would have gone off so they can start fitting the tiles on top. This was probably done 5-6 years ago before I came in, and I have to basically take this original floor and continue it through this extension. So they've taken down the wall, as you can see, and they've rebuilt the kitchen, and they basically want the same tiles going on and going over this whole extension that they've put down. The problem is I've got to get, as you can see, there's chipboard. I've got to go from that chipboard over the top of those bricks to this old floor and make it seamless, so you can't see the difference between the two. Let's see if I can do it, shall we? So as you can see, I've started taking up some tiles which are like all the cut ones on the edge, and some of the full tiles further into the room because they were scratched to probably by the builders. They did say that they put a lot of sheets down trying to protect the floor, but it was apparently there was a double door here, and they obviously that was the main track in and out from the back garden, so it probably had a lot of scratches from stones on people's shoes and stuff like that. And this floor is, I think, Antico, and it's pretty bleached by the sun coming in the back doors. Like I said, probably 5-6 years old now, so it's had a lot of sun on it. I'm just using a mold lifter to lift up these tiles on the edges, and when I pull it up I don't try and yank it, because you could pull the latex up with it. You want to keep as much as the latex down as you can, because otherwise you've got to keep preparing and getting it all right before you can obviously crack on and fit the tiles. So I'm getting this bad boy in. Plate, it's not the coarsest one. I wanted to get a coarse one, but I haven't got one with me today, just so I can grind that out so it's equal level, so I can put ply over the top of here, because that's alright. So grind these down to the same level. So here we are, we're going to grind the floor. So we're going to grind down these bricks and the concrete that the builders have put in, and we're going to just try and get it to the same level as the chipboard, so we can run our ply over the top onto the bricks. That wire there. So yeah, there's a wire coming down and underneath this unit, so it's probably one of those you know, cylindrical sort of things that you push in the top of your kitchen top and you pull out, and it's got plugs in it. So it's probably that those wires are for, or they could be another socket in the unit. Maybe there's a dishwasher the other side of this, so they want the wires there. But yeah, they're exposed, and we've got to sort that out, haven't we? So let's see if we can do it. Well, it seems to be doing the job. So I've got the fan going to blow the dust out the door. It's always a good practice to try and stop the amount of dust as you can from going to the rest of the house. So there's a door the other side of this blower which leads to the hallway, which goes all the way up the stairs. Some people will put like a blanket or something in the doorway, but I didn't have one of those, so I thought I'll get the blower on the go and blow some of the dust what's been kicked up by this grinder out the door. Alright, down on the dust. So I'm pretty happy with that. It's just this transition between that and that. So you want it to come over, apply to at least there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill this, get some of this out, and this here, and get this out, because can't just go over that. So I'm going to fill this with some fat setting screed, which is called Rapid, and I'm going to get all this nice and neat, so then the ply can come up, go onto there, glued, drilled and plugged into some places so that's solid, which stops the bounce on this wood. So there, if you stop it there, and then latex that to there, because this moves, you'll get a crack right along here, and when you put the tiles down over the top, that crack will show through. So you've got to bridge it over there. So what I was saying there is we are going to take the ply, which is on the chipboard, and we're going to bridge over the top of the bricks, and the bricks are solid. So we got solid bricks and we got a bouncy wood floor. So you can have this floor as solid as you like. It's not going to be as solid as stone, is it? So you're going to have movement here. So if you just fit up to where it's got movement and that's solid, that's going to move to, and over time there's going to be a crack. Okay, so you can't have two independent floors. You can't have a solid floor and a moving floor. You can't just fit up to it. You need to bridge it. And bridge it basically means go over the top of those bricks, right, with the ply, and then it becomes a solider floor, or solider floor. So basically it will take out that bounce to a point, and it will stop it cracking and moving independently. It becomes one floor then. So it will go over the top and basically brace it, hold it in place. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. I like to go at least a foot onto the concrete, but here I didn't have that option because obviously we had the old floor, the old latex and everything. We only had that course of bricks to go over. So now we're going to go over that course of bricks with the ply, and the ply is going to be nailed onto the bricks, and it's going to be stapled onto the wood, and it's going to be solid, and it's just going to take that bounce out. Further into the room with the wood, it's going to be, obviously bouncy, bit of give to it, but where that transition from the concrete to the wood isn't going to be two separate floors, it's going to be solid. Okay, and that's what I'm talking about. So let's get some Rapid on the go, and we got to fill these cracks and these holes. Okay. So this is Ardex A45, and it's really good because it's rapid, meaning it goes off really quick, and it's for really deep holes and deep voids that you want to fill. It can go really thick, and what happens, it dries from the inside out. which is really good. There are other stuff called microcoat or feather finish, and that's not meant to go over anything really big. It's not really chunky. It's supposed to go over small little imperfections and things like that. That's why it's just a feather or a microcoat. Microcoat is stop gaps, sort of feather finish, and Ardex do feather finish. Basically, there's two different types. There's probably a lot more, but those are the ones that I've used. Yummy. So as you can see with my finger there, I've covered myself, and I've covered the floor as well. So I've basically filled in all those holes, the sections of the brick, and basically made it a lot better for when the ply goes over. It'll be ideal. So it's all filled in now. So this needs to dry before I can put the ply over it. So I'm going to leave it drying. I'm going to get some ply down in the rest of the area, and back in a sec. So it takes about an hour to go off. It depends on the humidity. You know, obviously if it's raining outside, it would take a lot longer. If it's boiling hot, it would, you know, be a lot quicker. You could put a heat gun on it or a fan. I prefer a fan than heat gun, because heat gun just pushes the moisture down. A fan will basically, any moisture comes up, gets released out of it, will just sit on top, but the fan will get rid of it for more moisture to come up, and it will get rid of it. So I prefer that than a heat gun. That's gone off. I'm now gluing and concrete nailing. I can drill and plug it as well if I wanted to. I think that's a bit harsh. I'm going to have to do just nails. So I'm going to do this section as well. So I'm going to use, is my favourite, Flexifix. Now I love this Flexifix, and the reason why I love this Flexifix stuff is because it can go over damp floors. So in the bricks there, you can see around some of the corners there, it's a darker colour, and that means because it's still damp, it's still got moisture coming out of it. Now this glue can go over that and it will still hold, and the moisture will come through the ply and come through the latex and dry it. I'm leaving this overnight anyway, so I needed to get on it because this was close to the end of the day and I needed to get this job sorted basically. So yeah, that's why I love Flexifix. If you want to endorse me, Flexifix, feel free to send us a message, but I'm not endorsed by them. I wish I was. Get some Flexifix for free would be good. Anyway, crack on. The old Scooby Doo pattern, which is basically nail down. Yeah, there, nice. So the Scooby Doo pattern is like the squiggly diggly D. There isn't a specific pattern that you want to do, but obviously get as much down as you can when you want to, and you'll be all good. Cut these ready to go. Plies cut in. If you want to see how to cut in ply, I've got loads of videos about ply and laying out and stuff, so check out the channel. Other videos. That's a plug. So plies getting put on down on that one. Squidgy McSquidge. That's a technical term, Squidgy McSquidge. trying to set up the camera, look. Bit of an angle there. And there goes the camera. Not the best, is it? So I think I gave up on trying to video hammering nails into floors, but I think everyone knows how to hammer a nail into the floor. As long as you've got concrete nails, you'll be good. And the reason why I use concrete nails is because I think drilling and plugging, putting a wall plug in these bricks was probably going to shatter the bricks or damage them, and I didn't want to take that risk, so I knew that nails would be fine. Obviously with the glue as well, it's pretty good, so it will hold, no problem at all. So yeah, I didn't record whacking nails in. I think everyone knows how to do that, don't they? So it's been stapled as well, so stapled on the wood side, obviously not onto the concrete because the stapler would die. And I've put some primer down because I was going to put some latex down in these gaps and try and sort of bridge the ramp. So I'm going to be a bit of a ramp there, so I'm going to put some along here, take that transition out. So I don't want a peak there and a peak there, so I'm going to try and get the transition there, and obviously the transition between the concrete and the ply. So time to mix up some latex. So when you're latexing on top of ply, you always prime it. I mean, you prime anyway. As anything that you're going to latex, you want to put primer on. Primer will basically help the latex sort of grab to what you're latex over the top of. Primer is such a good product. You use it on practically anything. You will even glue. If you're going to glue something to a wall, you want to prime it first, because you don't want to be putting glue on something which is sticky. You don't want to put anything on something that's dusty. So this will basically kill that dust. And if something's really porous, you mix it with water, so the porousness will be taken out because it will have water to drink, and it will leave the primer alone, and that will basically work its way into the ply and give it something to bond to. So yeah, you want to give it a good coating of primer. Make sure that's 100% gone off before you latex it. As you can see right there, there's actually a little gap underneath that skirting, and there's like a sort of bit there. What you need to do with that is, you can actually see it, but there is silicone in there to stop it, all the latex sort of flowing away or going down a crack behind the skirting. So I did actually put some clear silicone down through there. So you want to stop it just basically all disappearing, and then you got latex again because there's no latex left. It's all underneath the house. You see some more screening videos. Some on my channel. Another plug. So I'm trying to get that transition between this one and that one. I don't want just a sudden dip. So there we go. Just redid it. And what I've done is I made sure it's
thicker, bigger than I need, because I can always sand it down. Can't build up screed once you've sanded it, so I've made it bigger so I can just sand it down. So I'm going to be a bit of sanding tomorrow, but I'm happy with that, the transition. See what it looks like in the morning when it's all dry.
So that's the end of day one. I'm going to see what it's like in the morning, but as you can see, that's a pretty good latex. It does look like it's disappearing around that unit a little bit, but we will see tomorrow. And yeah, it's a bit messy on this edge, but we're going to sand it down. It'll probably shrink a little bit around the edges as well, up to the other screed, but let's see what it's like in the morning, shall we?
So this is the next day. It's all dry. As you can see, it has shrunk a little bit back off there, which it always does. I have to pop this towel up because when I'm sanding that might get hit anyway. But yeah, so I need to get this bad boy on the go. Give it a sand off.
And as you can see, like I said, it was disappearing along with this up a bit, this edge here, that edge here, and where that electrical wire was. It looks like it's gone underneath the unit there. So we would definitely need to get some feather finish on the go there. I really love this sander. This is my personal sander. You might have seen other sanders in my previous videos. There was a blue one which had a Hoover sort of like dust skirt, they call it, which sucks up the all the dust. I love that one, but that was in my previous employment and I had to leave it. I did love that thing. You can get a skirt for this, and I am saving up for a skirt for this, so I can just suck up all that dust. Yeah, I think it's about 250 quid, something like that, for one for this. So I've got to save my pennies and get myself one of those. But yeah, this is my personal sanding, and I love it. So there she is, she's all sanded back. You can see this edge as well, it needs tidying up. So I think the next port of call is to get some micro coat on the go, or feather finish, and sort of feather out the transition between the latex and the ply, or the latex and the original screed, just to get it all blended nicely.
Fibre reinforced it, because then that would have brought up your 3 mil.
Yeah, definitely.
So 6 mil and then fibre reinforced over a lot. Job done.
Yeah, no, I should say, occasionally we've got 3 mil bit and then 6 mil bit.
Yeah, yeah.
But that would be far too much if 9 mil was close.
So I was just talking to my friend there, and we were talking about this floor. If this floor wasn't brought up to the right height, the wood side, to meet the concrete, to say there was a big dip and I'm just sort of ramping it out, then we would use a sort of latex called fibre reinforced. Now the fibres in the latex basically will grab the latex there, have like little hairs in it, and it will bend with the wood floor. See, so that's what we're talking about. This floor didn't need it because it was actually pretty level by the time we sanded that down, put the latex over it and stuff like that. It actually leveled out pretty well. But yeah, there is opportunity to do that, and obviously that's going to have to be factored into a price as well, because that stuff's not free. So if the customer wants it, then we can always do that. But this floor wasn't too bad, so we were just talking about other stuff that we could have done on top of this. So there's a little insight to our little chats. Oh, I was going to say, this is actually the micro coat or the feather finish after it was sanded down. So we've sanded down the bricks, we've sanded down the latex, we've sanded down the feather finish. You know, we got, it's a lot of prep. There is a lot of prep, but it's worth it. Now if you look at that picture right there, right in the middle there was bricks. When we first turned up, there was bricks. Massive channel, 2 different floors, chipboard one side, bricks and latex and bits of tile, and it was a mess. And now look at it. It's a smooth floor.
So there's the bit what had the bricks all gone now, or linked back in. You can see the difference in colour.
So see that difference in colour there? That looks like grey and brown. It looks like a totally different floor, but it's not. These tiles we actually took into another part of the house that had the same stuff going through, and they are exactly the right colour. We actually even found the right pattern, right, and put it up against it. It was the exact colour. If you look actually in the middle there, they're 2 of the same patterns just flipped. So anyway, they're same colour. It's just that this had bifold doors or poly French doors, and the sun had come in and bleached it for 6 years. Now these will bleach as well, because as you can see in this frame, there's actually a skylight, and that skylight will bleach them. We actually covered up a part of this floor after we took this video, because obviously the skylight and the sun coming in was red hot, and we had only just, you know, finished putting down these tiles. So you want to keep the heat off of the tiles. Well, we normally sort of like cover it up and leave it to the next day when we grab our stuff. Sometimes we put paper felt on the windows, sometimes underlay, anything we can do to sort of stop the sun sort of heating it up, because it is a plastic and it can bubble until the high temperature adhesive that we put down goes off and grabs it, and it won't move then.
This is where the original back door was, so you can see that difference in colour there. Applying that.
There goes my phone.
Hopefully this will blend, but the customer was happy with that. The original one had been down 5 or 6 years.
Come on, man.
And that was my Joe Biden message alert.
There we go, all blended back in. There's the other side. And it's one room again. Sort of.
So I think you can agree that is a pretty successful job. Yeah. Besides the, you know, slightly difference in colour because of the bleach and all that, imagine what it was like at the very beginning. It was bricks, it was ply, chipboard, sorry, and now it's one floor, it's one room. They had it as 2 rooms, they put an extension, but now once those other tiles sort of blend, you wouldn't know that they were done at 2 separate times. 6 years difference. Now that side is concrete, the other side is wood, and you've got that transition now, and that's how I do it. And if you want to see any more videos like this, if you like these sort of videos, give us a thumbs up and subscribe, because that's what I do. I do flooring videos. I do some weird other videos as well, chucked in just for entertainment value. So I'll see you in the next one. Thanks very much for watching. Bye.